Hey, welcome to Tuesday Tea Time with Dorina. I'm back. So we are presented from Women of Wisdom. We are a nonprofit organization here to bridge the generational gap between the older and the younger generation, to pass on vital knowledge to one another, to empower with practical wisdom and confidence so that we can birth a new era of teen girls and women. All right. Because we need confidence. That's one thing that's lacking in our community is confidence. Okay, so we're here to help you with that. Okay, so I always like to share with you my tea, and I'm doing the peppermint Bigelow tea, and I have this cup with me tonight. And this cup is from a friend of mine's, Adrienne, that moved away. So I don't get to see her like I used to. It says precious and dearly loved. So I am precious and dearly loved. And guess who else is precious and dearly loved? Voila, it's you. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that, whether you believe it or not, because you need to have confidence in that and believe that you are okay, so you can start doing amazing things that you were created to do. All right, so we've been talking about the process of transformation, and last week we talked about our thinking, and I kind of share with you a little bit about my process and some of the things that I dealt with. But you know what, let me say this. I was thinking about this, and I brought my I brought my sunglasses, because you know what, naturally, oh man, I was a real shy person. And I'll be honest with you, it stretches me in some ways to even share, some of the personal things in my life, because that is not something that I would normally do. But because I love people and I really want to help people, I go outside of my comfort zone to to do this. And I was thinking about, how Michael Jackson was. I can do it with my shades on. How about that? But you know what? I have kind of, overcame, that. So I'm not going to go there with you, but I thought, oh, I could do this. I could do this with my shades on, but I have to do it without my shades on, because that makes me reach down inside and bring forth my authentic self to share with you, to help you be your authentic self, and to build that wisdom that we really all should have, and it's because of some of the things that have happened to us in life that um, we don't walk in the wisdom and the confidence that we should. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to talk about tonight. Okay, so we're going to talk about the process of transformation. We're going to talk about releasing. Okay, so um, you know, I told you that, I had to go through, my cleansing of my thoughts, and just, rebuilding my thinking. And so I'm not sure if you know this or not, but it takes 21 days to break down an old thought. And it takes 21 more days to build a new one. And it takes 21 more days before it becomes a habit. So that's 63 days. And so it takes a little while to change our process of thinking. And so last week I told you about, writing some 3x5 cards and putting some positive affirmations about yourself. What you start with, what you like about yourself, and just kind of let that help build your confidence up. If you're not sure, ask somebody that's close to you what they see inside of you, and you could have them write a positive affirmation for you, and you can start saying that, and you just keep saying it and keep saying it every day when you get up in the morning and before you go to bed at night. You just keep saying that, and that's going to give you confidence to change the way you think about yourself. So that's that practical application for this process of transformation. So the next step that I wanted to share with you is releasing. Now, I want you to know that I'm just sharing my personal experience with you. I don't profess to be a professional advisor. And if you need professional help, seek it out. Okay. But I know what I went through, and, I'm supposed to share my life with others to help them to go through, the transformation, or to help you bypass a lot of mistakes so that you'll have the wisdom that you need to make the right decisions. Because listen, experience is the most effective way, but it's not the best way. The best way to learn is to learn by other people's mistakes. Because really, if you think about that, we're supposed to learn to follow correct advice. We're supposed to learn to be obedient. And if you're going to learn to be that, you're supposed to learn that by listening, not by experience. But experience is effective, but it's not the best way to learn. Okay, those are for my young people out there. So you don't have to go through a lot of things in life. You can learn by listening. Okay, so hey, tea time. Oh, good. Okay, so there's something that I want to tell you that, going through this process and everything, you may see some similarities of my process, may connect with yours in some way, but there are going to be distinct differences because we all analyze things different as we process things through the 7 pillars of our brain. Okay. So, what I want to share with you now, this is crucial. And as you're going through the process, you need to keep this at the forefront of your mind, because this is crucial and it will help you go through this process or even help you discover where you at. So I wanted to post this so you can read it for yourself as I read it as well. Injury hurt goes in, healing hurt comes out. Okay. So injury hurt deals more with blaming self and blaming others. Um, and healing hurt takes responsibility for self. Okay. So, when someone hurts us, when they injured us, when we receive that pain, we're either blaming ourselves because we think that there may be something that we did that caused it, and it could be, but there's sometimes, other people do things Even especially when we're in our early years, people do things to us and we don't always have control over that. So that is injury hurt, okay? It goes in, but it has to come out in order for you to be able to live up to your highest potential. So we have to address the issue that it does exist, and then the healing hurt, because it's gonna hurt goes in, hurt comes out. But when we allow it to come out, now we're taking responsibility for our own lives and we are allowing ourselves to heal. And that's what we want to do. Okay. So, um, one thing that I wanted to share with you too is that responsibility is one of women of wisdom core values. Excuse me. That's because we need to take responsibility for our own lives, regardless to whatever has happened to us in the past. We don't have to stay in the past. We can allow ourselves to heal, and that's taking responsibility for ourselves and not allowing our past or other people to continue to dictate to us how we're going to end up in our future. Okay, so that's good. so we have to address the issue. So I have some things on here that I wanted to share with you. And with my transformation, it took 8 years. But I mean, we're talking about the caterpillar to butterfly transformation. And we know with the butterfly, it doesn't really take all that long to go through the cocoon and the degeneration that happens inside the cocoon or chrysalis, whatever you want to call it. But with me, it took 8 years. And I'm not saying that it's going to take you 8 years, but that's how long it was for me. And I went through some deep uh, liquefying, to use the caterpillar terms, um, because there was some deep wounds that had to be dealt with. Plus, I'm not sure why um, things happened the way they did, because really, listen, I went through the transformation for 8 years. When I came out of the transformation, I was at a encounter, and listen, I was in the eighth row. I was the eighth person in my group. I have 8 letters in my name. And it came out, my 8 is the number of new beginnings. And the butterfly is the symbol of new beginnings. And all of it was just connected all in my life. So you know, I don't know why it had to happen that way for me, but it doesn't have to happen that way for you. But there will be similarities in the process of it. So, so I had to go way back, and I had to release the little girl that felt abandoned by her mom when she was 11 months. So I had to go back and release her and deal and face the fact that I was angry with my mom because she passed away. And I took that in as a little girl, and I had to go back and address that issue. And I had to go out to the grave yard, and that was hard for me. It took me 2 years before I could actually go out there, because I mean, I had this thing deep, okay? So we're talking about, let me put this up here. We're talking about address the hurt. And that's just one thing out of a number of things that have happened, and but the key is to go back and address that issue, and then release it. Release it and let it go. And let me hurry up. Forgive, and then come back to the present with a positive outlook. Okay. So let me share this with you, and we're going to call it a night. But Lisa Oliveira said this: when we start practicing being present, our hurts have less control over us, and we have more freedom to choose how we want to respond in our lives. And that is very important. And so we have to release, and sometimes you just got to act that out. You can put a rope down or whatever, step over the rope and decide, I'm not going to look back, and don't look back until you emotionally heal. And you'll know that when you look back and the injured hurt is not there, but the healing hurt is there. And so that's what we have for Tuesday Tea Time with Dorena today. Okay. So I hope that you filled your cup up with lots of wisdom tonight, and make sure that you apply the things that are being shared so that your life can be a better life. Okay. And then at the same time, Dorena loves you, and you'll know how to walk in wisdom. All right. Good night.